Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you for the third webinar under the webinar series of Marketing and Relationship Strategies for Buying Agents. And today we will learn about the channels of marketing. I would like to welcome Mr. Vishal Dhingra, our chairperson, our speaker, Mr. Gagan Kapoor, our GB members, and all our BAA members. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Vishal Dhingra to say a few words. So,
Thank you, Abhi. And thank you, everybody, actually. We have been chatting just prior to this call also with Gagan. Gagan, I was so looking forward to listening to new thoughts, as after a certain age, you don't really grow, you just react with your experiences you must have had over the years. So it's always good to have the younger generation or to listen to them. We try not to at times because we think we know everything, but then you really start learning after a certain age that we should listen to the new generation. So I was actually looking forward, and thank you everybody for joining in. I'm not saying you are the older generation, but yes, the thoughts are welcome from everybody. I'm probably the oldest out here on the.
We can't dispute that.
Yeah, I am.
No, it's not you. I said all of us are
No,
lost.
बच्चे हैं, or you have to listen to them, Agjor. You have to listen to them. The thought processes are
Definitely. There's no doubt about
unbelievable.
it.
Yeah.
They
But
are,
at times you think, Sham ko over a drink, ki, boss, why didn't I think that way?
yeah.
Somebody, comes and tell you, that this was the easier way out. So the only
Yeah,
way
that's why
was,
we are
sorry,
still plodding and they are
yes,
soaring.
they are soaring. But theek hai, we had our good times. God
Yeah.
has been very, very kind.
Anchal is also the younger generation.
Oh, she is.
Totally.
ये हमारी इंदिरा गांधी है ग्रुप की. But yes, I was actually looking forward. Again, Gagan, thank you very much. And thank you everybody for joining in. And I'm really looking forward. I hope we get to see you in person also, Gagan. And
yes, I'm looking forward. Yes, I'm looking forward to meeting you all.
So actually, once we are done with the call, probably I'll put Anchal on the job of holding a physical get together. And it will be even better than this.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you again, everybody. Please keep listening to Gagan, and hopefully we get to learn a lot from him today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now, I would like to call Ms. Achal Kansal, our General Secretary, to say a few words and share more about this webinar.
Thank you, Avi. I'm not going to take too long because I think Gagan has a fabulous presentation to give today. And Gagan, I actually leaked out to the members that it's going to be very interesting after I saw it yesterday. So everybody is really looking forward to it. Needless to say, your first webinar was a total hit. And we all are looking forward to what pieces of information you're going to share with us today. So all the very best. And I must thank all the members who are coming in. I'm sure there are more who are going to join in as we go along the presentation. So totally over to you. Abhi?
Sure. Now, without wasting a minute, I would like to invite Mr. Gagan Kapoor, who is a marketing consultant and a trainer, serial entrepreneur with over 21 years of experience in marketing and over 8 years of experience in training, with a sole passion of helping people differentiate their business and present themselves better. Mr. Gagan is the founder of Go for Growth Consulting, which focuses on building marketing strategies for organizations and marketing success trainings. He's also the lead consultant at Sotex and is heading the Sotex Connect initiative. Over the past 11 years, he has helped more than 340 companies build their strategies and has trained more than 39,000 entrepreneurs. A fitness freak and an avid reader with a keen interest in space science and passion for trainings, Gagan has decided his time fully to make marketing more fruitful for business owners. Mr. Gagan, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Avinash, for this introduction. Thank you so much, Mr. Dhingra, for this beautiful startup note. And I really loved it. I'm looking forward to meeting you all. Thank you so much, Anchal, Tanya. And this interaction with which we are actually making these sessions has been really great, because we know that we are doing, or we are trying to do something which can really benefit the buying agents community. And this session also is our one such effort in making that happen. And like I always like to start, I would request you with these three things. Okay, the first one is the phone for 1 hour. I'm going to take about 60 minutes from you. And for 1 hour, you can keep your phones away. Keep your notebook next to you, because I'm going to tell you there are few things going to happen. Okay, there is something which you will say that I knew. Okay, which is great. There will be some things which you will see. There will be an aha moment. Oh, I could have done that. Wow. Then there will also be something which you always knew, but that is what we call it as the blinding flash of obvious, right? So you will also realize, oh, I could have done this. Why have I not thought about it? And there will be some things which you will also see that right now I am not up to it, which is absolutely okay, because then you will put it in your strategy, in your plan, that I have to do it 5 months from now, 6 months from now. And today, when I talk about the channels of marketing, I am going to be talking about how you can start for a basic startup to actually some of the advanced level stuff I will be telling you all, which don't get overwhelmed. I know that there will be some information which you will get today. Pick up something which you can take up as the next steps. Put 1, 2, and 3 onto those things, and you will see, start doing things, and you will see the impact will start happening within your businesses. So let's start and let's talk about what are we going to cover today. We will start with talking about 7 channels of marketing for small business owners. And this is something I introduced it to you all in the session number 1 when I created it. I spoke about the 7 channels. This training is exactly about that. I will be covering 3 channels primarily out of those, which are mainly related to social media and digital marketing. Then we will also talk about how do you promote your business through these channels. What are the steps you need to take? Followed by understanding social media, the importance of content marketing. Yes, these days we listen, we talk about videos, blogs, articles. What is this content marketing? We will talk about that. Email marketing is one of the most critical one for the buying agents. I'm going to be also talking about email marketing. And in the end, we will also talk about why we should not be afraid of paid marketing and when should you do paid marketing. I will be speaking about that as well. So with this, let's get going. And as I always like to hear from you all, please tell me how many of you, I would like, see my energy, especially on the online world, is from you. Okay, so type in for me in the chat box if you think you are excited. बहुत ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं करेंगे. E, just type in E for excited. And I know that you are with me. You are looking forward to this session. I just got a couple of E's. Yes, I want to get a lot of E's. Yes, yes, wonderful. Okay, great. So let's get going. Now that I have sufficient number of E's coming in, let's get going and talk about the channels of marketing. And I want to show you the same slide from my session, which I showed you at that time. I spoke about these 7 channels, which are very, very critical for small and medium enterprises, for the buying agents like us. Okay, social media is definitely one. We all understand there is LinkedIn, there is Facebook, there is Instagram, but what do you really do with it? Email marketing, very critical, but what are the rules which need to be followed when it comes to email marketing? We will talk about that today. We will also talk about content building. What kind of content you can build? What are the 8 different ways of building content? We will be talking about that. You will immediately get to know what to talk on email marketing and social media marketing through the content building, right? We will actually also touch the pay-per-click marketing a bit. What is that? As a lot of people still don't understand and they feel that pay-per-click is only for big businesses and all that. We will talk about that. These are the 4 things primarily we will talk about. Because exhibitions and events, I see a lot of you have already been doing it. It's a very big topic in itself, affiliate marketing itself, and websites. I want to start and end on the websites here on this slide, but it will keep referring to the entire presentation because your websites, and that is the reason why it's right in the middle. Your websites these days are actually the hub of all the activity. All of these 3 must converge to your website. All of these 3 must converge to your website, and we will talk about how can you do that. So let's get going. And before I actually tell you, I must tell you that out of all of these 4, 5 things actually form together digital marketing. If I say digital marketing, these 5 segments together create digital marketing, and each of these segments actually are capable of generating leads for you. And last time, Sandeep spoke about how you can internationally generate a lot of leads. With socially marketing yourself, how you can actually generate leads, and each channel can generate tons of leads for you. You go to an exhibition, I know you are already generating, you come back with 200 leads for that matter, or 150 leads. Each of these methods also is capable of doing that. And it's a very simple rule of closures. The more the number of channels you are going to use, the better the leads you get. The better you use the channels, the more effective leads you get. And once you start getting these leads, you automatically start talking to them, and your closures, business closures, are better. Simple law of probability, right? So what we will now do, try and understand these channels one by one. And the first channel which we are going to know today, which we're going to learn about, is going to be your social media, which is indeed one of the most critical factor, at least after COVID. Before COVID, a lot of people said, okay, it's there, we will just type or put something there, post something there. Suddenly after the pandemic happened, everyone started realizing the importance of social media, and a lot of people have started getting business also as a result. So let's first understand what really it means for us. At this point today, 2.7 billion monthly active users are on Facebook. LinkedIn, B2B, business to business, right? 760 million users, like 76 crore users we're talking about. 100 crore, 1 billion users on Instagram, and 2 billion users on YouTube. Do you know YouTube today is the world's second largest search engine behind Google? It is very critical that you also are searched on those channels. So we will be talking about them a bit today. I'm not going to really go into I will start with very basic, but Sool will get into the little advanced things. But you must know, all of you must know, that you need to start looking at what are the kind of channels you are going to be on. Choose your channels wisely and be there. So what are these channels? Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest. Many of these channels will work good for you. Facebook and Instagram go hand in hand. LinkedIn, any kind of B2B marketing, you're looking at importers, you're looking at retail outlets, all of these, their purchase heads, their managers are all on LinkedIn. Start building connects. Yes, your product is such which requires Instagram because it's a fashion and lifestyle product, or maybe Pinterest, which is good. Again, fashion and lifestyle is very good on Pinterest as well. Along with that, you cannot afford to ignore LinkedIn. You must plan it like that. And when I talk about this, first thing what you need to do, you need to identify what is your purpose of social media. If your purpose of social media is business to business, we are very clear that whatever said and done, you have to be in LinkedIn, right? You as buying agents have a big role to play in a B2B marketing. So you have to be there on LinkedIn. You should be there on Instagram. The kind of products you are doing, Instagram has a very good visibility with more than 1 billion users. And then of course, Facebook will come simultaneously. YouTube, definitely, yes. This is the order in which you must have the things. And Twitter and Pinterest, as I said, is supplementary. So what you need to do, why social media these days has become so important. Social media increases your brand awareness. We spoke about the importance of the brand. It increases your brand awareness. Your website traffic, which actually adds to your search engine optimization on Google, increases because of social media. You are deviating everybody who sees your post. They have to have a call to action on that post to take them to your website. And you can actively engage with your audience on website because you are connected with them. You are engaging with your prospects. You are engaging with your prospective customers, or even people who you have worked with. They need to come back to you. So you're even engaging with them. That's what social media does to you, right? You actively can generate leads by marketing, by paid marketing on social media as well. And a lot of people now also use social media for customer service and support, as well as a lot of marketplace awareness people use it for. So this is what social media is capable of doing. And let's see, how do you really get started on social media? For the starters, many of you must probably already be there, right? But what you must do, you must have business pages for your preferred social media channels. And that is something which is critical. A lot of people, frankly, are still running their businesses from their personal pages, not up to the mark. You have to have your business pages created. And this is something you can make it from your own admin. You yourself can create a business page. Do not rely on a digital marketing agency to create business pages for you. You can actually do it from your own page so that you always have that control. At times, you can just make your digital marketing agency a manager to manage that business page rather than giving them total controls. We have seen people end up facing a lot of challenge at a later stages, right? So make your own business pages, and you need to decide your goal and your target with social media. That is something which is very important. Now, people may have different targets and different goals. So you need to decide, and please write it for me if you can. What is your target in social media? I'm going to name a few. Okay. Your target to be on social media could be actual sales. Your target to be on social media could actually be just awareness, right? I want to make my brand available and seen on the internet, on the social media. Or your target to be on social media could actually be just customer interaction, right? So tell me 1, 2, or 3. Don't type much. Tell me out of these 1, 2, or 3, what is your target when you go onto social media, when you go onto LinkedIn? What do you do? I see awareness coming in, brand awareness, right? I see from Rajneesh even customer interactions coming in. Very interesting. So whenever you are going there, and some of you may have multiple targets, which is absolutely okay. And I see most of you, and which is wonderful to see, most of you are actually talking about awareness, because that is what generates bigger results for you. Active sales, of course, does, but for buying agents community, which is, we are a service industry, awareness and interaction with people 2 and 3 actually can really help you generate some good footfall for the leads which you are willing to connect and get. So let's talk about, now we are talking about social media. We have spoken about our business pages. We also need to understand, okay, that what kind of resources are we talking about? Evaluate your resources. Who is going to do what? And I am just going to remove the annotation. Allow me a moment, please. Somebody just annotated. Just a second. It will just take a second. Clear all drawings. Yes, and now I'm going to switch off the annotations. Okay, now I have the full controls on annotation. All right, done. Okay, so evaluate your resources. That's what we need to do. How is that to be done? You must need to see who is going to design these posts. We all know that we may actually not be able to do it all by ourselves. So just have a look. I am sorry. Okay. Okay, yes. Okay, so who's going to evaluate? Who's going to actually design your posts? Something which you need to look at. Are you going to have your in-house design team, or you're going to have somebody who is going to be, you are outsourcing somebody? But plan this, because I have seen people procrastinate designing. Your team gets too busy with the orders, and suddenly your post hasn't gone for months, for actually months. So you must see who's going to get the design going, who is going to post for that matter. And if there are posts coming in, if there is a customer interaction which is required, who is going to respond? All of these things must be there. On an average, if you know and understand a little bit of social media marketing, you can all do it by I would say, at least the posting and responses, you can do it by yourself. And designing, any of your team members or any freelancer or any good digital marketing agency can actually help you do that. But whenever you are creating, and I'm going to now focus on designing, what are you going to talk? You must understand whatever you are designing, be very clear and absolutely clear who is going to be your audience, right? And every single post you are posting, ask yourself who this post is going to address and what challenge do I expect them to solve. That is something which you need to clearly understand, right? And you also need to see, you need to be present where your audience are. You cannot be just ignorant of this fact that I would like to be on Facebook because I like to be on Facebook. You have to be there where your audience is. If you think your audience is going to Pinterest, you better be there. If you think they're on Instagram, you better be there. Or if it is LinkedIn, LinkedIn, definitely you must so. So be there where you are, your audience is. And what kind of things get you engagement? And I'm going to talk about content in depth here. But what kind of things actually get you engagement? Thoughtful content, right? I have seen a lot of people where I say, okay, start your marketing, start your planning. I have seen people talk about simply, I'm going to start selling. I'm going to start buy this from me, buy that from me. This is the usual mindset of the people posting. Unfortunately, that is the last thing what you should do, right? What you need to understand, what you need to do is your content should be thoughtful to the audience, to the people you are communicating, and so that it can help them in some way. Always think about giving something on social media, and your conversations, whatever you type, whatever you write, has to be very, very meaningful. And that is something which is going to really get you results. And I would also request, when I talk about social media, just don't post, also look at groups. And whatever you are posting, join these industry groups, right? Following a page is one thing, joining groups is a second thing. So what you must plan and discuss and decide is what kind of industry groups are you going to be in? Something related to your industry, something related to garments for that matter, something related to quality servicing. You can join a QC group, quality check groups and all that. Whatever gives you knowledge with which you can upgrade your systems better is something you need to be there. So join industry groups. That's very critical. You need to bring in engagement, awareness, and a lot of things what you can do. You can drive a lot of people to your business page and to your personal page through posting on groups as well. And let me tell you, when you post on your own post, it does not automatically go to groups. You have to go to the groups independently and start posting. What you also must have is, for better searchability, must have is the hashtags. A lot of people, some people put hashtags by just the fad. I like this, so I'm going to put this hashtag. You must carefully, and if you are not yourself doing it, tell your teams what kind of hashtags are they going to be using. Okay, these hashtags, what does hashtags do? First of all, it helps you get to the right audience, and it is easy to be in social media search results. So what does it practically means when I say be on use of hashtags? If somebody searches you by the fact that hashtag buying agency, okay, anybody throughout the world, if types hashtag buying agency, if your post also has that hashtag, you are probably somewhere in the search results. How will you go up is all about how much your post is liked and shared. Okay, so it is very, very critical that we use effective hashtag, not that what jo man mein aaya, the same hashtag you put in. Research your hashtags, what matters to you, what matters to your customers. Once you do that, it really gets you good results. Another very critical thing, people ask this question very regularly to me, is something which is, how much should I post? Should I have 4 posts a week? Should I have 5 posts a week? What should I do? And my recommendation in this case is just focus on quality. Just focus on consistency. That is more important. You can actually do 2 posts a week, 1 post a week, that's okay. But definitely put 1 post a week. That is something which is very, very critical. Don't be in this thought that I have to do every day, I have to do a post. Not required. Every 2 days, not required. As long as you do not get into that thought process for the first 2 months, I've been posting every single day or every other day. After that 6 months, I'm so fatigued that I'm not going to post at all. I'm not going to even log into LinkedIn. I'm so fed up of that. You don't need to get that. Just get consistency going, right? Focus on adding value to people. That is what it requires. Even 1 post a week, it is too good for consistency. It is too good for you getting noticed by the people. And let me tell you, you really do not need 1,000 followers. You just need 100 engaged people who can like, who can appreciate what you are posting. You don't need these many followers. Just get more engagements. That is going to help. And what you must do is think about building an expert image online. And that is what that is what really helps you do. With you as experts, all buying agents must be experts in whatever they do. And every single client, every single buyer, every single retail chain must look at you as you being an expert in whatever you are doing. It builds a lot of trust. It builds a lot of authority. What you should aim at, and your only aim in social media, for a lot of us, the next level is ads and getting leads. The first level is, how will people consider me to be an expert? That I am the go-to person for anything what people can think about related to my category. Okay, let me call this gentleman because he's been posting quite a bit. That should be your way, and the thought should be like this. And a lot of people have actually been posting well on Instagram and all that. Instagram is all about images, so you know that what you are posting, right? But a lot of people still are not able to understand what do you really do on LinkedIn, right? Is it going to be the same as what you do on Instagram, which is actually very, very different? At times you would have seen a text post actually can get thousands of responses, right? While an image doesn't get it. So what do you do on LinkedIn? So let's get to see, okay? How do you really work on LinkedIn? Very simple. If you wish to learn, then follow somebody. Okay, you actually have an option to follow, if not connect. If they are not able to, if they are not connecting with you, you can just simply follow them. Number two, if you wish to engage on LinkedIn, comment on the posts. If you wish to agree with certain things, like that post. If you wish to support and you really feel for that company or for that business or for one of your friends for that matter, okay, share their posts. If you wish to inform, then you simply put a new post on to the thing. And if you wish to collaborate, then send connected messages. That's the law. That's the usual rule of LinkedIn. And I would like to request you to do that, right? Let me tell you one very, very critical thing. These days, whatever happens on social media, any of your posts, you may have 5,000 people on Facebook connected with you, or you may have 10,000 followers. Whenever you post something, by the rule, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, they do not show your post to the entire 10,000 people. They show your post only to 10% of your entire base. Only if it is liked by those 10%, it is shown to the other people. That is why you would realize you see certain posts for the first time from your friend when it has already been liked 20 times or 30 times. That is the reason. You actually see some posts 3 days later when it was posted, or it has been liked certain times. So your post cannot be something which is just not doing anything. If it is liked, it is shared instantly, it is going to reach even more people. But if it does not get liked instantly, which means the quality of your post matters, it is otherwise just going to fall flat and there will be no likes later on. So you need to keep on track. Even these social media channels also want that you put quality. And literally, too many selling messages are literally crap. Let me say this in as many words. Too many selling messages that buy from me is not what is appreciated on social media. And anywhere, you also wouldn't like somebody to say, okay, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. This is the same message which you are putting. I've already mentioned as consistency is very, very critical for you on the posts. So post at regular intervals. Too much or too less is not advisable. As I said, be very, very clear. And some of you who think that I'm going to be traveling for the next 20 days, I cannot post. My team is not going to be available. You can actually, first of all, I highly recommend all of you must use a social media calendar. Okay, I use a calendar for the people I consult. I can actually give it to you, give it to the BA team, and it can be shared with you all. It is a very simple tool in which you talk about and you write what are the basic things you're going to be speaking. So that is what is called your content pillars. And every week you decide that you are going to be posting one thing out of that content pillar. It could be one of your product lines, it could be one of your target customers, it could be one of your about your company or things like this. So maintain a social calendar at any point of time. You must know that what is going to be my post for the next, let's say, next 30 days. You must know that. And you can actually use tools to automate this process, by the way. You are going for 1 month. What I do with my posts, I do not actually sit on my posts regularly. The moment my design team creates these posts, I manage it myself. I put it on a tool, automation tools like the one which is called as Buffer. Okay, Buffer is a very simple tool. In one go, it can post to 3, in a free version, it can post to 3 social media tools automatically. You can time it. So what I do on the first or any of the first Sunday, I sit, I line up my post for the entire month, and the posts keep going. I get a message the moment 2 weeks later a post goes, I get a message, your posts are live. And I can then share, comment, and all that. There are other tools as well. So Buffer is one. Hootsuite is another one. Zoho Campaign, Zoho Social is a third one. I'm showing you many as you may be using certain things. You can actually do that. Canva, by the way, has started automating your posts as well. So you can even use Canva for automatically posting these things. And along with that, there are 2 more, which is Meet Edgar and Loomly. These are 6 of the ones. Buffer is the most used, by the way, and Hootsuite is again actually which has come out very, very big. Buffer is very, very useful that way. So use these so that you don't have to worry about posting every week or every 10 days. You can just automate the entire process. So this is what I had on the social media. As you saw, I want to be simple, yet I want to give you certain advanced features. My request is plan your strategy on social media. Do not ignore it. Content is the king. And I'm going to be speaking specifically on the content towards the end of these slides. From social media, I want to get on to the second method, which is also very, very critical. And this method, by the way, my friends, is actually what we call it as email marketing. And email marketing is also, we all know that email marketing is a superb tool for us. If we find buyers, we have a list of a lot of people, we want to be regularly in touch with you. But let me tell you again, like I was telling you about social media, people's idea of email marketing, do you know what people, when I talk to them and I say, okay, you have to start doing email marketing, what are you going to do? They say, okay, just hand me over the data, okay, and I will start selling. I will start sending out mails to them, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. This is what people do with email marketing. And when I'll show you what are the kind of emails actually are, you will realize that buy from me is just one of the 10 kinds of emails you can send and still get business, right? So let's understand a bit about them. First of all, what you do with email marketing. Let's first understand that, okay? It is one of the most essential tools for business. Buying agents realize this, right? It's a form of direct marketing. As I was telling you that like digital marketing only shares the data or shows it to 10% of your people, okay? Email marketing actually sends out the data to all the people who are there in your data bank. That's what we call it as direct marketing. So you actually get to reach their inboxes and you don't have to. And how many of us check emails every day? I check it 10 times a day, right? So all of us do check email marketing. So it's actually much more effective than, or I would say rather supposed to be effective if it is used properly. So let's see what needs to be done, okay? But what you need to do is you need to constantly work on building an email marketing list over a period of time. And for that, I had spoken about last time, you need to use a lead management tool. All your emails, you go to a trade show, your emails or your data must come in a lead management system. You're actually getting leads from Facebook, somebody's calling, somebody's giving you a referral. All of these must be captured in a list which gets created over a period of time. And then email marketing, my dear friends, is actually one of the best nurturing and top of the mind recall tool with which you can actually nurture the person from just meeting them to actually setting up a real expert image. So what are the kind of emails, by the way, which all of us can actually do? What are the types of emails? The first type of emails, which I knew everybody would want, is prospecting emails. This is when you send your company information, your company brochure, and you say, we can do this for you. We are all, I think this is something we are all aware of. We all do that. And most of the time we only do this. Okay. But there are many more emails which you can send, which still keep you on top of their mind, and people actually start following you and clicking your links. Okay. What are these? Educational emails. If you're writing a blog, which is good for their industry or good for them, send that to them. You will realize people will appreciate and go and read that, and they will create a very different image about you, right? If there is some industry updates which are happening, you are sitting here in India and somebody is in US, you are sending out messages that what kind of situations that are there in India right now. We were just talking about container shortages, which happened. Now it is easing up. Talk about how we are tackling the situation. These are the industry updates. So they know that somebody's there sending them good information. You can talk about this, right? You can also send them re-engagement emails. Somebody who has not been connected with you for a while, they can come and connect with you again. There at times when you have not connected with people for long, creating a nice survey on SurveyMonkey or something like that can actually create a nice survey, send it out to them. It's not an upfront selling. You are still on top of the mind recall, and people reply to these surveys at times as well. You just are in front of them, right? Just send out a message to them. These are the top 10 things which are getting, or we want to just understand from you, what is your top 5 choices these days to be sourcing from India? Just a simple survey like that. You will be in top of their mind recall. People will understand that you are doing research so that you can serve them better, right? It works like that. And then you can also send them special offer and promotional emails as well, right? Many people start from prospecting emails, take out all of these and go straight away to special offers, which you cannot afford to. You need to start building your content with regards to that. And let me tell you, it is just sheer procrastination that we do not think about creating a blog or a nice article which can really help your audience. And that is what we cannot afford to. And that is why with the discussion with Aanchal, I created a special section on content buildup, which I'm going to be giving you in just a few slides. So all of this, by the way, you can automate. Okay, you can really make things happen. I'm going to be telling you about some of the automation tools as well, which you can use. So with email marketing, by the way, there are 3 sacrosanct rules, okay, which all of you must adhere to and must follow. Rather, without this, nothing happens. Rule 1, your email must get delivered. Everybody knows that, right? Your email must get delivered, which means what are you going to do with it? How it's going to get delivered? Only if you are using the right things. I'm going to be talking about it in the next slide. Rule 2, okay, now that you have ensured that it is in their inbox and not in the spam folder, why will they open it? What have you written that they are going to open it? And the third thing is, even if it is open, why will the email get converted? I remember I had a question from somebody last meeting when we did with Sandeep, and they said we do not get email responses. And I said, I'm going to tell about it next week. If you come over or come across these 3 hurdles, then only you actually get a response. And most of the times people just get mixed up within the first and the second rule itself. So let's get to understand a bit more about the 3 rules. What is rule 1? Which means your email must get delivered. It has to make it to the prospects email boxes. And let me tell you, by the definition, the spam filters have become so strong these days. Many of the emails are moved to the junk folders. By the way, there is no perfect science to deliver. A lot of times our regular emails also land up in spam, but you can actually take care of obvious mistakes. First of all, never send a junk email. Okay, don't send bulk emails. Don't just BCC everyone in a mail and send out your communication. That is the first step of your email not getting read and landing up in spam boxes. Okay, if you're sending a prospecting email, you are sending out message to someone, send out a one-to-one mail. It clears out 90% of your spam hurdles. Then you need to avoid attachments in the first mails which you are sending it to people. The first mails, you are going to avoid all attachments. And let me tell you, the hackers embed. Just allow me a moment. I see somebody. Okay, it has been muted. Thank you so much. Okay, so avoid attachments in your first emails for the people you don't know. Hackers embed malware and people are very careful about it. Okay, avoid too many hyperlinks. The maximum hyperlinks which can be there is your website link, which should be clearly visible. Okay, it should clearly say https #baa.org. Okay, that's how it should be. And then the second thing is that you can actually have one link to your special to a specific page, which it can go special link to a specific page, but avoid having any such thought which actually takes you to any other page, any other link. Okay, so this is what you need to do. And along with that, you need to also understand, you need to skip these spammy words. Okay, these are some of the spammy words. There is a bit of a disturbance. I'm sorry. All right, I think it's just gone for some reason. Okay, so skip.
One second, let me just ask Nitinji. Nitinji, this is getting unmuted with some disturbance. So if you could just keep it muted, please. I think it's happening on its own.
I'm on mute only.
Hanji, thank you. Thanks. Go ahead, Gagan.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Okay, so now what we need to do, you have to avoid these spammy words, all caps, free, special, buy now, amazing, free access, delete, don't, cash. These are the words which actually are clear spams. 100% guarantee, save money. Don't use this, they automatically will take you to the spam, right? What you must do is use automated tools, and that is going to really help you with a lot of interesting ways of delivering your emails. I'm going to be telling you about that in the next slide. Rule number 2 is your email must get opened. So now that you've cleared certain spam hurdles and sent your emails to the people, but now will they open it? Do you know on an average, people receive 200 emails a day? That's the average. And these days with the Google making it easy to delete a mail with just a swipe, it may be 90% of the times it gets happen, swipe, don't like it, delete. I don't want that. That's what happens. So that is where your subject line, okay, your subject line is becoming very, very critical. It's an instant split-second decision. Your email must stand out and compelling enough, which practically means, and I'd said something last time, you must use a way which is called as WIIFM. What's in it for me? Which means if your subject lines are customer benefit focused, there is a high probability of your email getting open. If you're going to send a mail as our profile from India, nobody wants to understand what do you mean by my profile from India. There must be hundreds of people sending them their profile from India, right? You must say, how can you reduce your, you can have being cost efficient by 5% by utilizing our services. I have seen people writing messages, subject lines like this and getting noticed straight away. Look at a consumer's benefit and talk about that in the subject line itself. It really works, right? That is what you want to do. Then subject line, as I said, is very critical. Your subject lines cannot be too long, by the way. It cannot have questions. Use action words. Or if you have been referred by something or you met them at an exhibition, mention it very, very clearly. Do not mention it in the main body of the mail. You can write, but if they don't open it, what's the use of it? So if you met them somewhere, refer it in the subject line. They wouldn't remember your name, my dear friends. If you really had a dinner with them that day, that's a different thing. Otherwise, if you just met them just like that in a trade show or got their email from somewhere, they won't remember you. So if your line is too boring, as I said, it won't work. Your idea, as I said, is to connect with them and address the issue that is all about the prospect. WIIFM. And then rule number 3, now that your subject line is a make or break whether your email will get opened. Now that your email is opened, okay, what are you going to do that your email must convert? which means what you're going to do is you are going to see, what is you mean by conversion? Convert means a person who reads your email and responds to you. Okay. Now, what you are going to do with that? How do you really get what is a response? Generating a response means you are talking about an appointment, or you're talking about introduction to decision makers, or you are talking about a way with which they connect you back. Okay. And that is why if you are sending out emails to high-level executives, C-level executives, your emails must always be personalized. If not, if you are sending out a bulk email to a lot of people, there are email management tools which you should use. But never ever try and send them the mails which really, you actually should do a lot of research. Without thought, you should not put out a mail. The message should appear to be for them. And that is something which is very, very critical. And whenever you are sending out emails, a lot of times I've seen people getting disappointed by the fact, you know what, I sent them emails, I created a nice subject, but it did not, I got only 5 clicks. What do I do? Doesn't matter. You need to keep improvising, right? What you do, keep improvising. Next time, change the subject line. Some subject line resonates with some people. Another subject line will resonate with another people. You will see, you will be able to get that idea, right? Change the challenge you address. You need to address challenges in your emails. What are the kind of challenges which people are facing? Change the challenge you address, and you will see people will start resonating, or they will respond. Different times, different people will resonate. And let me tell you these days why I said you can actually see what is working, what is not, because these days, with the use of the right email tools, you can actually automate, analyze how many mails I sent, how many people really opened, which means your subject line was good that they opened. Out of those people, how many people actually clicked a link? That is conversion, where you actually managed to get a link click. So how many people click the link? You can actually see. You can even see which email ID or which client saw my mail and who clicked it. There is a different journey which needs to be created. So these are some of the mail campaign tools which you can use. Okay. Again, I'm saying personal emails to C-level executives always need to be seen. After that, MailChimp, Zoho campaigns, Constant Contact, Send in Blue, and Get Response are the ones which are good. Klaviyo and Drip are for e-commerce and bloggers primarily. But if you are using MailChimp is a very good tool, and Zoho, they are both very, very intuitive. If you get till about 2,000 people, it is for free. But the moment you get above 2,000, Zoho campaigns is better and cheaper than MailChimp. So you can take a guided call accordingly. But what these tools do to you, these tools do the following things to you, by the way. Okay. You can exactly know the investment, an exact return on investment can be tracked, right? What can be done? You can, as I said, you can see what was the response, how many people opened, how many people unsubscribed. You will get to know that straight away. You can track that. And that is why I highly recommend that you use these tools to start sending out messages. And they are do-it-yourself tools, by the way. Okay. I send out a lot of emails to my customers myself. I have made a format once, spent an hour making that format. I was not knowing about it. I just saw a 1-hour YouTube video on Zoho campaigns and MailChimp, and I knew what needs to be done. And within seconds, I created, within an hour, I created a new mail, and I now follow the same template, and I'm able to do that. You can also do that. If you think that you cannot, you feel very technologically challenged, or you don't have that kind of a time, tell your team member to do that. It is not a rocket science, my dear friends. But you need to get control of your email campaigns and start reaching out to people regularly. The third thing, which I'm going to talk about, is another very, very critical mail. Now, this actually brings us to the section of email marketing. I am now going to talk about a tool which many people think that it's only for the big guys. It's only for the people that, what is, by the way, pay-per-click? What is Google AdWords? Google AdWords is, in very simple terms, if I talk about the moment, okay, I'm going to take you to this particular screen. Okay. For example, this screen, if you notice, I put workstation onto the Google search, and suddenly you see these ads on top. A lot of us always see these ads onto the top, right? And we think, you know what, these ads must be so costly, and how do people show these ads and all that? It's a simple do-it-yourself tool from Google called Google AdWords. And you do not pay for showing these ads. You pay only for clicking these ads. If somebody clicks these ads, then only you pay. So that is what the method which is called as pay per click. Okay. Now, what does pay-per-click do to you? Advertisers pay each time a user clicks on their online ads. Okay. It gets you on top of search engine. So if you have a good website and you're doing bidding, so what you do basically, you actually bid on keywords. Google ads or Bing ads can actually get you these results. Okay. And you actually get on top of the search results. Ads are shown on top of that, like I showed you this particular one. Okay. How does it work, by the way? Online bidding or ad auction. So if you say, I showed you something which is called as workstation. So the moment somebody's put workstation, there must be a bidding price, but workstation is a universal word. So somebody would have actually shown or got workstation or have bid for workstation throughout the world. But if you say workstations in Gurgaon, or if you say things like these and you bid for these are slightly cheaper biddings, which you can, and the biddings are like 3 rupees a click, 4 rupees a click. Very high, it could actually be the biggest one, which are universal, could be 500 rupees a click. But what it does to you, it actually gets that person immediately to your website. And that's the biggest advantage of this. Okay. So what you do as a part of it, bidding happens on keywords. All depends on how much you're willing to pay for a keyword. Google looks at the bid value and the average quality score of your website and creates a rank. And basis that, you actually go on top of the search results. If you prepare your website really well, but one thing which is very, very critical in this case, my dear friends, for PPC to work, your website should be worthy of it. Your website must convert. And that is something which is very, very critical. And how can really it help you? You pay only for clicks, by the way. Your budgets are controlled. You can decide, I'm not going to spend more than 3,000 rupees, as low as, or even 1,000 rupees for that matter. And I'm not going to put out any other money. You can even retarget those people. You get above the top of the search results. Traffic is instant to your website. Multi-layer targeting. You can even target and show your ads to a certain country, to a certain city. So sitting here, you can decide my ad will be shown in Amsterdam. My ad will be shown in Amsterdam to the business owners or to the retail chains. You can even define that, and Google will show the ads only to those people. That much detailing is possible doing these ads. It really works. But as I said, it has to supplement with your website really well. Your website must speak for itself, and that is what is critical. What it does is it drives warm leads for you. The data helps in your search engine optimization strategy. As I said, it is do-it-yourself tool. Smart retargeting is also possible, whereby some people who have clicked your links in the past, you can actually create another ad and show it only to them with another offer. It is wonderfully well, which you can actually create that. And but if, as I said, it won't convert if you do not have a good website. Once you have taken them to a website, your website must speak the language which you want them to understand. Your landing pages, your product listing, your graphics, well laid out photographs, everything matters when it comes to your website. So use pay-per-click effectively and only if your website is also working well. Now, these are the 3 things what are there with regards to email marketing, social media marketing, and pay-per-click. And now I want to talk about, a lot of you, actually a couple of you PM'd me that what do we really talk on these? And to answer this question, what I want to say is, what you want to talk on this is actually stories, right? Storytelling is the best form of marketing. And I'm going to be ending my presentation today with certain stories, with the stories you can create for the people, for your audience, for your clients. So what are these stories? As I've been telling earlier to you all, whenever you are making or building content for the social media, remember the 80-20 rule. 80% of the customer benefit posts and only 20% of the sales promotion if you can. I know people who do not sell anything and still get tons of leads. Okay. Now, what form of content we are talking about? We are talking about graphics. We're talking about videos. We're talking about blogs. We're talking about GIFs. Okay. Text messages works, shorts on Instagram and YouTube work, right? We're talking about reels. Instagram reels are becoming very, very famous these days. And we're talking about stories of your clients. I'm going to be talking about in the next slides. And we're talking about polls. This is the way. None of them could be selling, but yet tons of engagement can be generated. So let's talk about 8 types of content which can boost engagement. Number 1, what can you talk? Your content can be created to educate people. You give them value, they will stick around and definitely come back to for more posts. That's number 1. Number 2, content to inspire. Okay. Something you put which resonates with people instantly, which people feel so good that they like it instantly. And these could be certain case studies. It could be certain testimonials. It could be stories of failure and challenges as well. People resonate with it. So you can put content to inspire. And let me tell you, every single industry has got all of these contents available and you can create it by yourself. People like the good stuff. People like the original stuff. So look for the content within your domain. Look for the content from your business itself. If you can create something, it'll be really great. Sometimes sharing how I got inspired by something also works. People resonate with it, right? That's what you can do. Then number 3, your content which can really convert people. Okay. It can actually nudge a reader in a direction of some sort of action, which means it can take them to signing up for a newsletter, take a free course, or buying a product, or actually it can take them to your website and show your new or latest products. So you can actually put some great content which will actually convert them to take some action because they found that content really, really well. You would have seen people actually engage with people even with entertainment, right? So I don't know how much of you can be quirky enough to plan something to do that, but being funny, right? It makes it being shared very, very frequently. You've seen that. That's what sometimes the things which really go viral. Inspirational stuffs go viral, emotional stuff go viral, funny things go viral. So can you really create and be very creative in creating something like that? I would definitely be looking forward to see some creations. If you have done something in the past, do share with me. If you are going to do something in the future, I will be more than happy to see that. And if it really worked, that will be wonderful. What you can also do as a buying agent, you can create lists which can actually give a lot of guidance to the people. Now, what are these lists? I'm just going to tell you and you will know the answer yourself. Okay. Top 10 ways to do something. Now you can actually tell people top 10 ways to buy ethically from India. Okay. So there could be so many things what you can plan, right? Then you can actually top the 5 ways you can best do this. Now you are talking about so many factors. You are talking about sourcing. You're talking about 5 kind of products, but other 20 kind of products. Take one product, right? 5 ways you can best source this. 5 ways this product can be best identified this. Doesn't matter. You think you are giving knowledge. Let me tell you, if you give knowledge, people will feel you are an expert and they will come back to you, right? 7 easy ways to use these. I would say, just remember these lines or click a photo of it and use this to create a headline and put some thoughts behind it. What you can do with it is either meet a need, experiment with some numbers, and make them skimmable. What do you mean by skimmable? Easy to read, right? So that if somebody has to see it just within seconds, they can read the headlines and still get the gist of the entire presentation or the entire blog. Number 6, case studies and success stories. The case studies and success stories have 3 things, by the way. Okay. And this is something you can do with your clients. You can talk about how you successfully handled somebody and what you did for them. You can even share their name or not share their name for privacy. That's okay. But you can talk about the kind of problem we had, what was their request, what were they looking to source in India, which they were finding a big challenge. They had gone to 10 others, could not source. What were their challenge, confrontation, and how you resolved that challenge. You talk about that. People see these stories, people understand that. You could create that in the form of a video, or you can even write an article. People will still, interested people will still go. And maybe I will not go, right? But your customers who resonate with these will definitely go. Next up, 7, how-to guides. Okay, how-to guides are where you solve a problem or fill a need for your specific audience. How to build good content, how to choose a good garment. These are called how-to guides. So tell your team, tell your digital, if you've got a digital marketing agency, tell them to start working on some of these. It can really, really help you get some real traction about your business. And if they have been not doing it, ask them, they are supposed to know all of this, that they should be doing this. And the last but not the least, you can even create some resources and tools for these people. Okay, you can create some templates. You can actually create an ebook or a guide to help you to something to do better. At times, these ebooks can actually be on your website. It is downloadable by them. This is an information which your buyers will appreciate having. And they will, by the way, happily give their email to you. And that becomes your subscriber. So you take people from your website, from your social media, let them click and go onto your website. Let them see that there's an ebook available which can really help them with solving a challenge. Let them put their email into it and let them download that ebook. They will remember this. And how do you really share this content? As I've already been saying, you actually share this content. Okay, first, you can click a picture of this. A lot of these things I've already mentioned. These are the kinds of things you can actually do that. A lot of these I've already mentioned. I've just summarized them all together for you to actually, again, you may not be doing all of them. You may actually do it over a period of time, right? Some things could actually be 5 months down the line or a year down the line, but you must know that you need to get to that kind of level, right? We have seen on LinkedIn, polls also work quite a bit. You ask a question, people see that you are really thinking about the industry, and people really resonate with you there. People engage there, right? And what do? How do you share? You share the content on social media. You share the content with email marketing. WhatsApp, it's a question mark. Frankly, a lot of people do not at times appreciate somehow WhatsApps have been understood to get into the privacy, right? If somebody sends me 10 WhatsApp messages, I feel that this is an invasion into my privacy, and I kind of block them right away. So be very careful while using WhatsApp. If the people you don't know them, you should not. Ideally, use social media, connect with them on these channels, as well as email marketing is a good tool to connect. So if you noticed, we have today covered 4 things out of the channels of marketing, social media, which are a form of digital marketing, I would say. Social media marketing, email marketing, content marketing, as well as pay-per-click. All of this, I will kind of repeat it again. Social media, email marketing, and pay-per-click are all dependent on what kind of content you create. It is not about selling. It is about building some good content, and think about how you can make your website the hub of each and every activity. Everybody must converge to the websites. That is what you need to plan. And if you really want to think about what kind of future you're going to have, and I know a lot of you are planning, have already thought about an effective digital marketing strategy apart from your exhibition strategy only, you must start learning about it. You must start telling your teams to get to see. Today's session was not about you thinking about doing everything, But you need to be aware of these facts. And next time, when your digital marketing agency or your team members say, sir, we don't know what to talk, and you say, go do some research or look at these notes, do this next, do this next. They will see you much more knowledgeable than the others, right? With this, I would like to come to the close of this particular session. It's exactly 60 minutes. But before that, I never finish a session without talking about what is one thing what you are going to do. I know that you would have learned 10, 15, you would have got to know it must be overwhelming. But to get out of that overwhelming effect, you need to clearly tell me right now on the chat box, what is one thing which you are going to take from this session? After this session, what is one thing which you are going to implement? And I can tell you something which has been bothering you on top of your mind, it comes to you naturally to write that. So I want to see some answers here. Website building, Rajneesh Garg. There you go. I've never spoken about website today. Still, it's coming because I know it's the hub. Okay, social media calendar, Geetika says. 1+3 says, we'll start working on the website, email marketing, social media, MailChimp. Vishal says website. It's interesting, isn't it? That we have not spoken about website today, but it is very, very critical factor. Zoho, I see, work on email marketing options. Sudhir says, wonderful. With this, I would like to thank you all for giving me an opportunity to speak to you all. It has been an absolute pleasure and delight to speak to you all. And thank you very much. I see all the numbers still there, which we started with. I think we have increased a couple of them. So with this, I would like to close my session and over to Achal for the post.
Gagan, what do I say to you today? You know, you just blow our minds away when you do these kind of sessions. Honestly, you know, it is so much of deja vu. Oh, ye karna tha, abhi tak nahi kiya. You know, it is so fantastic. And as you said, this is what I pointed out to you, and you pointed out this time yourself. All 43 people still on the call, nobody signing out. So goes to show the success of your webinar altogether. And you're getting all the compliments, obviously, on the chat box as well. Phenomenally awesome. Phenomenally awesome. And I don't want to take too much time because I can keep going on and on and on about it, because everything you've spoken about are things that I've dabbled with. And for people who've not yet started social media marketing, I can tell you, it's a piece and a full-time job by itself. You know, this is not something that you can do on the go. So when you take up a social media marketing, the good thing is Gagan has already given you the loopholes and the easier ways of going around it. So you have a far better chance of success by knowing this, rather than starting out into an empty terrain and learning as you go. And this is what we did. We've been doing social media for a year, and I know exactly when Gagan says a lot of things, they click. I'm like, yes, tab kyo nahi pata tha. We wasted 3 months doing this. So guys, take his advice. Obviously, we are still in the digital world. We are not moving out of the digital world so quickly. So let's really use it. I mean, it's like enjoy it as it lasts. When we'll be back to the physical world, I'm sure we'll figure out other ways of dealing with things. But as buying agents, I don't think the importance of social media marketing, email marketing, or any of the channels that Gagan's spoken about today can at any time be reduced, even when the physical world resumes fully. Yeah. And as we all said in the beginning, brand awareness is the thing that comes when you do these kind of activities. And that is going to be the most critical thing for all of us to increase our business prospects in the longer run. So Gagan, thank you so much. I will not take more time because I'm sure people have questions out of you. So Abhi, would you please take on questions now?
Yes. If anyone has any question, please write your question in the chat box.
Abhi, I think there already were a few. There was Vishwas.
Yes, I can answer that question. Vishwas says, I don't keep people in BCC, but still sometimes email go into the junk or spam. Any possible solution? So Vishwas, what you can do is, as I said, you need to take care of certain obvious mistakes with email marketing, with kind of words and all that, what really happened. At times, if your IP address, if you have sent these emails, bulk emails in past to somebody, it gets flagged. And then it becomes a little difficult to actually really get out of that. I would give you another idea for that, especially for bulk email. I do it. A lot of bigger companies do it. Okay. If you have a domain, let's say vishwas.com. Okay. I'm just taking by name. Okay. You also should have another domain by a similar name. Let's say vishwas.org or vishwas.in. Use your email campaigns through the supplementary domain, and your main domain, which has your website and all that, should actually remain untouched. That ways, and when you are sending out emails to people, the clicks can actually go onto your original website. That is absolutely okay. This actually helps you, your regular email IDs and personal emails not getting into the spam. That really helps you, Vishwas.
And to add to Gagan, Vishwas, I can also put in a point here. What happens is the firewalling system of the servers also at times create havoc with mails coming in. So unless obviously you cannot just ask any random customer or a prospective customer to remove the blacklisting, but a lot of IPs and a lot of servers blacklist certain IPs, which is why they go into spam.
Yeah.
So if it is a particular customer that you're having a concern with, you can always connect with the domain people and ask them to unblacklist you. And that way is your emails start going back into the inbox.
I would also recommend, just to what Aanchal said, you could request some of your customers to add you into the safe senders list. That is also a possibility. But yes, the better way from the backend is what Aanchal mentioned. That always works much better.
Thank you, Mr. Gagan. Now, Mr. Sudhir is asking, please explain more on MailChimp and how to subscribe and use it effectively.
Okay, so this is a big topic in itself, Sudhirji, but what I will recommend at this point is MailChimp is a tool which you have. Let's say you have a list of 1,000 people or 1,000 prospective buyers. Their email IDs is an Excel sheet, can be uploaded to MailChimp. Okay, you can actually create a template on MailChimp, and you can add your JPGs, you can add some text, you can add some buttons. It's very do it yourself kind of a thing. And then attach that 1,000 emails as a list to that particular email, put out a nice subject. It will go through your domain, by the way. Your MailChimp will actually verify your domain. It will go through your domain, and within seconds, the mail go to 1,000 people. And if you've actually, there's another way with which you can write dear F name. There is something which we call it as in the MailChimps and all that, in any email management tool. The mail will go to them like dear Aanchal, dear Gagan, dear Avinash. It goes as personalized as possible. Even the subject name can have your name, right? That is also a possibility. My recommendation, look at MailChimp. There's a 30 to 40-minute tutorial from MailChimp itself and other good tech gurus on YouTube. Use one of these. You will actually be well versed with mail campaigning within 40 minutes. I can guarantee you there. So there is no limit per day, but MailChimp actually has a limit for 2,000 contacts. Okay. And they associate some limits. I think they associate about 10,000 emails or something like that. And post that, you could actually, after 2,000 contacts, you have to pay. It doesn't then let you really pay. Then the package starts from 500 emails, and then it appears to be very costly. That's why I said that if your contacts and the number of contacts are beyond 2,000, Zoho campaigns is actually cheaper option than MailChimp. And Zoho is equally effective. I use Zoho more than MailChimp for 2 of my accounts, and it is much more effective and user-friendly.
Thank you, Mr. Gagan. I see there are no more questions. So now I would like to invite our...
I have a question of Gagan. Gagan, I want you to tell us how effective is PPC for a B2B business? I know it's super effective for a B2C business, but how effective is it for a B2B business?
So I've actually seen many people use it for B2B purposes. The sale is not instant, definitely, but you use that primarily as a lead generation tool, whereby there is something you want them to communicate. You want them to talk about a product, a further bigger product. So PPC does help with regards to awareness. That's one. But with PPC, you do not just look at awareness. You look at the lead generation. So
Exactly.
your landing pages, so in one case, in an e-commerce way, PPC takes you to an e-commerce portal and you would want them to buy something, right? In the other way, the B2B way, somebody who clicks a link from PPC takes you to a well-organized lead capturing tool, which probably can also have an ebook or something like that. And it talks about your business really well. And it talks about a problem. You say that you have a solution. This ebook has a little solution about that already. And people do give you your email ID and then leave out. The moment you have the lead, then you can proceed further with it. You know?
Because every time I've seen a PPC on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, all
Yes.
these three particular platforms, I'm not talking about Google AdWords.
Yes.
They're typically very product related. You
Yes.
know, कोई insurance बेच रहा है, कोई makeup बेच रहा है, कोई कुछ बेच रहा है. So we per se don't have a product. One, we are a B2B, and then we don't have a product. We have a service that we're selling.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So how effective can PPC be for selling a service? Because you're saying that, I mean, will it really ensure customer retention even if we take them to a, ebook where we're talking about a problem?
As I said, it is not going to really sell something to them instantly.
Correct.
It is going to just give you the lead, which you anyways have to nurture. That nurturing process starts after you have captured the lead. So which means that either you're going to call them because they actually requested for a certain thing, or you actually put them into your email management system in which you are regularly sending them emails after that, so that they get enticed to connect with you at a later date. The B2B lead capturing through the B2B PPC is primarily to do a lead capturing, which results in further nurturing of emails of those contacts. Yeah.
Fair. Thank you.
Okay. I see another question. Gagan, can you share some theme template to make a campaign as an example? So if you go to mail campaigns, you will have MailChimp or Zoho has many templates, by the way. You will be able to straight away use a template and start working on that. You don't need me. You will be able to do that from MailChimp itself. All right. Okay, Sudhir, you have another question on 80-20. 80-20 rule is actually called Pareto principle. It practically applies everywhere, frankly. Like the way I said, you use 80% of the time for branding and awareness and 20% of the time yourself. And I can tell you from this group, it holds true in training. 20% of the people from this group will implement probably 80% of the things. Rest 80% will probably not do that. And less 80% will probably implement just 20% or lesser things. So it actually applies at every single place. That is what we call it as. Learn more about Pareto principle. Okay. And you will get to see it is very, very effective. Depends on, next question, Sudhir, depends on the SEO manager, depends on the kind of company you end up hiring. If they know their science, if they know the business, they can actually do real wonders for you. Yes. Sudhir, you have my number. You can actually call me and ask me more questions. That's all right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gagan. Now, I would like to invite our Joint Secretary, Ms. Tanya Bhatia, to give the closing remarks. Ma'am.
Thank you, Abhi. Thank you so much. First of all, like a big wow. A big wow for holding on to all of us for over an hour, having us intrigued and not wanting to leave, even though it's already weekend. And it was a wonderful session, Gagan. And thank you so much. Thanks to Sonil, team Sotex for this wonderful session once again. For me, particularly, the whole idea of, you probing us and the members into browsing through the digital platforms and the social media and how it can be used to connect with the B2B customer It was absolutely insightful. Definitely, we are all aware of it, but the usage of the right chronology and how to go about it step by step is something that we need to be reminded from time to time. And most of us, we do one thing here, and then the other one takes a back seat, and then we don't time ourselves well enough to do the follow-up. So I think it was really much needed and very well appreciated. Thank you so much. For me personally, the content building and the email marketing were really, really informative and something to ponder over. And I'm sure members here have their own favorite topics. So on that note, I'll leave them to think about it and work on it, make a timeline and guideline on how they want to take it further from here, not just let it be a talk show. So thank you very much once again. Thank you to all the members for staying with us for this wonderful, wonderful, informative session. Thank you, Vishalji, for having this happen. Thank you, Aanchal, for putting it all together. Thank you, each and every one of you out there. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. See you all again very soon.
Thank you, Tanya.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Absolutely a pleasure.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a very good weekend. And thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everyone.